All right. We're going to actually record this. We haven't done this before, but tonight is going to be very special. I have some things that I want to share with you that have been on my heart and I've been thinking about. And then we've got some major announcements that affect our Miami event. We've got a very special promotion, some stuff that you do not want to miss. And so you need to make sure you have something to write with so you can take this down and get it to your team. We are going to post this. This will be probably one of the only times we do, but we are starting to get more international people, and this happens to be in the middle of the night for some of our markets. And so we are going to record this, and then we are going to look at the schedule and figure out, how we're going to do this with timing of the multiple time zones. But this is a very important call. Lots of very important announcements. And we want to make sure that everybody gets this information. And then I want to talk a lot tonight about vision and where we are in the company and kind of what's going on and how the future looks right now. The first thing I want to let you know is that we have extended the reactivation campaign. And so this was supposed to end over a week ago, but we actually extended it. So right now, anybody who is inactive or in grace can actually go in and renew regardless of how long they've been inactive. And so it's 179. They can go in and do it. That is going to be turned off this week. So you will not be able to do that going forward. Grace period, as most of you know, is 28 days. Once you are out of that grace period, you lose credit for your bucket list trip. And you also will you will lose any travel dollars that you've earned. Anything gets zeroed out. And so it's really important that you understand that we are going to extend this, and it's going to allow people to keep their original bucket list date. That's a huge deal. And the other thing on top of that is that I don't think a lot of you realize how powerful the 1 year prepay option is. We actually are in the process of booking the first bucket list trips for anyone who booked prepaid. Because remember, if you do the prepaid option, you save a month. So you save $179 because we bill in 28-day increments. And so by getting a year, you're getting a full calendar 12 months, which is actually 13 billing periods. So you save a month and you're eligible to get your first bucket list trip in 6 months as opposed to 12. So what's crazy is the people that upgraded when we launched in May and did the 1 year prepay, they're coming up on their 6 months. So we are actually in the process of contracting those trips right now as we speak. So if you are not using that prepay option, make sure you do. And if you have anybody who's been inactive or fallen out of grace, even from the beginning, it doesn't matter. Anybody can go this week. We've got 1 more week to do this, and then we're shutting it off. I was actually supposed to make the call to have it shut off this week, but as most of you know, my dad is in the hospital, was actually evacuated to the hospital in Dallas from where I'm from in West Texas. And so my week this week was a little crazy on top of being in 7 cities in 5 days. So it's on for 1 more week. And so it will end on Friday when the system, our week ends at 12 midnight Friday. And that's when this is going to go off. So it'll go back to the regular protocol, which is if anybody has been out of that 28-day grace period, they'll have to pay the $199 to join again. And everything gets zeroed out. Their bucket list trip will start over from when they re-sign up. And so this was a very special deal. We did this as a promotion a couple weeks ago, and we extended it. We're supposed to end this last week. Excuse me. And it didn't. Same thing happened with the general admission tickets. So the early bird general admission tickets are sold out, but we actually didn't turn off the $99 tickets, so you can still get the $99 tickets, and that is going away tomorrow. Okay, so you definitely want to make sure you take advantage of those $99 general admission tickets. Couple of things that, because of me being out of pocket, that were extended. So reactivation, make sure you're taking advantage of the prepay option. Those of you that have got your bucket list trip coming, for those of you that prepaid for a year, you're going to be blown away with some of these hotels that we're booking. It's going to be amazing. And so we're like 6 weeks away from some of those first people's bucket list trips being eligible. Don't forget that tomorrow night is our twice a month call with Corey Sanders, our director of physical wellness. And so he's going to be doing his call tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, brytelifewellness.com. So if you want to get on to Corey's call, we've got really good feedback. All of those have been recorded and they're in our YouTube channel. So if you want to go back and catch up and watch and see what Corey and the group has done in the past, you can do that. Those calls are all there. They're usually about 20 to 30 minutes, and great for you and your team to plug in and get some membership value from Corey. Then also, we have had now for 2 weeks, we've had the Friday lunch for the people, by the people, that Tiffany has been running. Those are at 12 Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. And those are on our regular Zoom channel, the zoomviproom.com channel. She's also been going live on social media with that. And the purpose of those is to get feedback from you guys on, if you have questions. She's done some Q&A. There was some talk about B2B this week. It's also time to give suggestions on membership value, things that you're looking for to get from the membership. It's really a chance to kind of have an open town hall type situation where you can find out what's going on, get questions answered. If you have new people or if you don't have a mentor, or you don't have somebody you're working with, your upline is not engaged, this is a chance to have Tiffany kind of mentor you on Fridays. And so if you have questions, if you want to do some role playing, we are open to whatever you guys want. That is your time to ask questions, FAQs, get some training, get some mentoring, explanations or clarifications from the Bryte Lyfe blueprint or anything that's out there. Basically, Tiffany has got an open forum, and if she can't get it answered, she's coming to me. We'll get it answered for you. We'll get it figured out. So that's for the people, by the people, Fridays, noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern on the regular Zoom room, zoomviproom.com. A couple of other announcements about B2B. We've had our first successful lead submissions. So we're already working some leads. And here's what's crazy. We are already working leads of a couple of companies that we made some exceptions for that have literally multiple thousands of employees. Okay. And so there are some big things happening. This could literally help you hit rank, overnight. And obviously it's a longer sales cycle, but if you know CEOs or if you know people in HR for companies, make sure you go to the back office and read the notes on the B2B program. Go to our new B2B website, brytelifebenefits.com. We also are looking for feedback from you guys on our brochure and also on our new B2B website. So if you have any feedback or you saw any typos or anything, we saw a couple of those that we got fixed right away. But all of the B2B information is in the back office. Now, for those of you that don't know, the back office button has moved to the bottom of the page. And so if you go to brytelife.com, the login button at the top is for your membership benefits. If you scroll down to the very bottom of the page, you'll see a button that says back office. The back office is where all of the B2B information is, so you can see the brochures there. We're going to be uploading the new B2B presentation. So we have a brand new deck that's got Keynote, PowerPoint. You can get it in PDF, and it's going to have the B2B presentation, which of course you're not going to be able to use unless you go through the accreditation program. And remember, the deadline for the fast track program to be in our first round of B2B professionals is on October the 19th, and the deadline is October 12th. So you literally only have about a week left to get your application in, get it submitted. The application is there in the back office under Bryte Lyfe News. And so make sure you get the application turned in, or if you have a B2B rep on your team, or you know somebody on your team that sold Aflac or sold benefits or sold insurance, if you haven't gone through and watched the training from 2 weeks ago, go watch the training. It tells you what we're looking for, how the program is built, how the lead splits work, how the company's going to work it. We are literally just weeks away from having the first B2B sales in the system. And so this is going to be a massive deal. We've got an incredible rock star, Sarah Gallo, running as our director of commercial accounts. She's amazing, phenomenal, created some incredible tools. Some of those you're going to see in the back office there under the news. And so keep that in mind. Next announcement. If you have not already heard, if you were not on the training yesterday, you need to block off your calendar January 4th through the 7th, okay? January 4th through the 7th is going to be our next Bryte Lyfe breakthrough. I will tell you this much. It is in a warm place somewhere east and south of where I am in Texas, okay? I'm not going to give you any more than that. Just know it's going to be an amazing place. It's warm. It's going to be an incredible experience. It's one of my favorite places on earth. And it's January 4th through the 7th. And so you want to make sure that you block off your calendar now. Tell your kids, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your spouses, boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever. Tell them no baby showers, no weddings, no nothing on January 4th through the 7th. It'll probably be around the time of the college football playoff. And if any of you guys were Tennessee or Alabama fans, you're not going to have to worry about the college football playoff. So there's that. And so sorry to rub salt in the wound on that one, but I don't know who's going to be in the college football playoff, but that's about the only thing that's going to be going on around that weekend, and it may be the following weekend. But just keep that in mind, January 4th through the 7th. That is going to be our next Bryte Lyfe breakthrough, and I promise you it's family friendly. You do not want to miss it. Now we have some very important tech updates, okay? Yeah, no shot that Bama is going to the college football playoff. Sorry, Marcus, that's not going to happen. So, and Tennessee, I think Milroe and Imaleva's like Heisman odds are basically triple or quadruple what they were before yesterday. So, not a good day to be a favorite in college football yesterday. Tech updates, okay? Tech updates. This week, we should go. It's going to be either this week or maybe the beginning of next week. The travel dollars to be able to use them for booking travel on the app and on the web is in final approval with Apple and Google. And so we had some financial modeling that we had to build and some transaction capabilities. So that is basically just waiting on final approval. It may go live on the web before it goes live on the app or vice versa. We're just waiting on the sign off on that. And then you'll see that you, of course, can already use your travel dollars to pay for your event tickets and to pay for the training. And the travel dollars are there in your account. You'll see them. They show up in there whenever your commission's finalized with the normal commission. So remember, it's 2 Fridays from when the week ends. That's when they show up and they're available for you to use. We also are in final testing with condos, villas, and vacation homes. That should be in the next 2 weeks. And so 2 very important features that are coming literally imminently. Travel dollars is going to be first. Condos, villas, vacation homes will probably be shortly thereafter. We also are building some new contact management features for the invite button inside of the app for you to be able to invite and share video and to sign people up. We've got some new features on that's in final testing. So a lot of things are working on there. And then one of the other important things that we're working on in tech is merging the payment profiles. If you haven't already seen on the web now, like I said, there's 2 logins. There's the login for the product, which has a payment profile. That payment profile is tied to all of our vendors and suppliers for booking travel. Under the back office is where your payment profile is for your membership and your subscription. So you're still managing your subscription, updating your payment information. And if you need to update or change your payment information, or if your card declines or expires, or you go into grace, you have to go in and manually charge your payment again. We will attempt it 4 times. And then after 4 times, it kicks it out into grace and we won't charge it again. So if you update your payment information, you need to go in there and manually charge it where it says reprocess. There'll be a button there that says reprocess payment or reattempt payment. You need to push that inside of memberships. What we're doing is we're building a whole new interface. We're already building it. We've already designed it. And it's going to have one payment profile where you'll be able to manage your membership. You'll have all the payment information in one place. You'll also be able to book travel. This is all an integration of us building technology from scratch. And so that's already been designed. They're already building it. So it will be deployed soon. But in the meantime, just make sure your members know where they go in to manage their payment profiles in the back office for their subscriptions, both influencer and member. And then also your payment profile inside of the web now for booking travel is under the login feature. That is your payment profile for booking travel. So that is our announcements for tonight. We're going to be doing something crazy at the end tonight. That is a major contest announcement that you do not. So you want to make sure you stay on until the end because this contest, I alluded to it the other day, but it involves tickets and it also involves the actual incentive that we're doing for the people that attend the breakthrough event. And so I'm going to tell you what that is tonight. So you are not going to want to miss that. And we're going to do that at the very end. What I want to do right now is I want to take you down memory lane. And what I'm saying by that is I want to take you back to 2005 because see, the thing is that I think there are some people out there that are looking at Bryte Lyfe and they're using the fact that we're brand new or we're a startup or that there's live meetings only happening in a handful of places around the world, and they almost have this like wait and see mentality. They're like waiting for somebody to come to their town and roll in and just start doing meetings and start putting things together. So what I want to do is I want to walk you back through how this happened the first time that I built a billion-dollar company, because it's very important that you understand where we are right now and what the vision is for what we're building and how important all of the tech is and the roadmap and the potential of what we have here. Because I think that there's a lot of people that are involved already, and some of you are watching this right now, and you're taking this time for granted. And so I don't want you to do that. So what I want to do is I want to walk you back in time, and I want to walk you through the history of what happened with my previous company. And then I want to show you the future. I want to show you what it's going to look like and what the opportunity is that's in front of us and what your life can look like and what Bryte Lyfe will look like 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years down the road. Okay, because it's already mapped out. It's already done. And so I want to take you back first, and I want to talk to you about 2005. When we started World Ventures in 2005, all right, we started signing people up on paper applications, or we didn't even have a back office. Okay, so we had no back office, we had no product, we had no trips. All it was an idea. And see, here is the power of an idea, because there were 5 of us. Okay, it was myself and 4 other guys that started the company, and we would meet. We had a shared office space here in the Dallas area, and we started meeting in July of 2005. We had to build everything. We had to make everything from scratch. So we created this paper application. So we make this paper application, says World Ventures, rep sign up. So we made this form. I hired the first couple of employees. We hired 2 people. And I did the interviews for them. And so we hired them. I drew the logo. Okay. It was the World Ventures logo was a variation of my college promotion company's logo. So I literally drew it out on a piece of paper. My initials are WM. And so I had a logo from when I was in college with the promotions company, and it was a WM, and it was Wild West Productions. And so I turned it over and made it like this. And so it was Wild West. And so I always had this WM logo. And then I had this Wild West Productions promotion company where I did music festivals and concerts and sports stuff around campus, around UT in Austin, on 6th Street, and then in San Marcos, where I went to college. And so when we drew the World Ventures logo, I just literally laid the W and the V, and we just drew some wings on it. And that was it. So we drew the logo out. We made this piece of paper. We started signing people up. So we're signing people up. We didn't even have a merchant account. We didn't have a bank account. We didn't have a website. We didn't have a back office. But what we had was vision. See, because the thing is when you're ground floor, right, you don't get the benefit of having everything dialed in, right? Being a billion-dollar company, being publicly traded, having unlimited capital, having an unlimited credit line. This is the difference of being a startup and having an idea and the genesis and being there in the beginning. Okay, so literally we're having people fill out these forms, and so it was a binary. It paid out a tenth of what we're paying out. A tenth. We're paying out 10 times more than the World Ventures comp plan. So when I saw the comp plan for the first time, another one of the 5 founders, he's the one who created the comp plan. And the top position in the comp plan was called IMD, International Marketing Director. And I was the first person in the company to hit IMD. But in my head, I was already an IMD when we first laid the concept out. Why? Because I was committed to be an IMD no matter what it took or how long it took. See, I knew in my head I was already an IMD. It was already done. It wasn't a matter of if it was going to happen. It was just a matter of when. And so literally, I worked around the clock because I was committed to being an IMD. And so my team, my right team and my left team was just stacks of paper. So I was literally just getting people to sign up on the form. We couldn't even charge their cards yet. We didn't even have a way. Okay, didn't even have a way. We met. I owned a part of a nightclub, part of a bar in Dallas, and so we wound up doing in October. So we were signing people up for like July, August. Well, probably August because we literally made the application in July. So the first time I started getting people to fill it out, August, September, October. We have a little party at Hotel Zaza in Dallas, and at my nightclub we did a red carpet thing, and we had a party, and it was like the launch party that we had back in May. Very similar, about the same size. Probably had more at our launch party in May than we did this launch party. And this was in October, okay? So in October, then we did our first corporate event in December in Vegas. And I have a picture of it. I want to show you the difference because I want you to realize where we are right now in time, okay? So I went through and I found a picture of that event. This is me speaking. I know I'm better looking now, but this is me speaking in that room. And you can see that, this was our first event, and there was probably, I don't know, there might have been 200 people there, if that. Okay, so this is now from July when we basically created the concept to December. So July, August, September, October, November, December. All right. And we did that launch event at Hotel Zaza. We did that with like I said, probably about 75 to maybe 100 people. Okay. So then we did the first event and it was a couple hundred. All right. So the timing and the trajectory, I want you to understand the people that came with me to this. Okay. The first people that I signed up, I want to tell you who they were in terms of what their experience was in network marketing and what they were making, who they were when I signed them up. Okay, that were some of the first people. Okay, first person I signed up was a guy I had met through working briefly in another network marketing company that was travel, where I met my mentors for about 8 months. Okay, and he was a teaching pro, golf pro at a golf course in Amarillo, Texas, where I'm from. And he and I had met, and we became really good friends. And he was the first person that I signed up. Okay, he had never in his life made more than $30,000 in a year in his life. Okay, the next people I signed up were two twin sisters. Okay, I had met them at a red carpet event for another network marketing company because I had gotten involved in travel and network marketing in 2004, and it was a scammo program, and I quit because I didn't want to do it. And so there were a couple companies that saw the success I had. I built a team of thousands of people in just in under a year. And so there was a company that was launching back then, and it was a red carpet event in LA, and they flew me out, and I met these twin sisters at that event. So I met them there. So when we started World Ventures, I called them. When I called them to get them to sign up, they had to borrow their mom's credit card to sign up. They were massage therapists and starving actresses, okay? And so when they signed up, all right, they were sharing a car. They were sharing an efficiency apartment in California in Marina del Rey with another girl, and they're older than me, and I'm 46. They never used to let me tell people how old they were, but they're older than me, and I'm 46. So this was 20 years ago. And they were sharing a one-room apartment, an efficiency, with another girl who was a flight attendant. So they were very rarely three of them there all at the same time, but they were in one apartment because that's how expensive it was, and that's how broke they were. Their mom had done network marketing, so they believed in it because their mom had been a top earner in a network marketing company their whole life. And so they had been around the industry, they'd been exposed to it, but they had never had any success. Okay? They were broke. Couldn't even afford it was $325 to sign up because we charge $199 initiation fee and $125 a month. So you had to pay $325 to join. And this was in 2005. Okay, so they didn't have the $325. Then there was another guy who was a waiter. He was a professional waiter. Now he was working at a very high-end restaurant in Beverly Hills. So his best year, okay, but the sisters were broke. Never made more than, I don't know, they may not have ever made more than 30 or $40,000 ever in a year, okay? And his best year was $60,000. He was a waiter, no network marketing experience, none, zero. Then from there, I signed up a couple. He was a police officer, okay, and she was worked for the city of Burbank, okay, and their best earning years ever were from their careers and was probably like a $30,000 to $40,000 a year per career. So the household, they had never made more than six figures. Okay. Once again, no network marketing experience. All right. Then another guy that we signed up in that very beginning, in that first 30 to 60 days, was a starving actor. He did get some parts where you would have seen him as an extra, like a stand-in. He had a couple of really, like, where he would say like a sentence. And so he did odd jobs. I remember he valeted cars. He did other stuff. He was doing all kinds of things, just like the starving actors do in Hollywood. And so because this was a group in California, this was all at Marina del Rey. Now, here's what I want to tell you, is that all of us, we were all committed to just do whatever it took. It didn't matter our experience. It didn't matter. We didn't have teams. We weren't bringing in teams. Here's the thing. I built a team of over 365,000 people. And in that 13 years, I never recruited a networker. Never. I never brought a team in. I never brought in an experienced networker. Never. I literally just went out and got belly to belly with people. And because I was excited about something and they knew, there was no doubt. When people met me and when they got to know me, see, the thing is I had the mentality that it was already done. We were going to be a billion-dollar company. We were going to travel around the world. We were going to change lives. I was going to be an IMD. And then all of those things started happening. None of us knew what we were doing, but here's the difference. We were all working all the time. We were always doing events. We were always doing meetings. I was sleeping on people's couches. I would stay with our team members and stay in guest bedrooms or on couches. Well, I would travel around wherever people wanted to do meetings. We were doing meetings everywhere. It was all live meetings. Zoom didn't exist. Zoom is a crutch, right? Zoom is the COVID crutch because it takes belly to belly. If you're excited about something, you have to get your energy conveyed to someone, and they cannot feel your energy through a Zoom when you're not even the one presenting. So, see, the thing is I believe that people buy into people and their commitment and their energy. People will listen because they know you, like you, or trust you. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is why people listen to what we do. It's because of who you are as a person that they listen. That's why I tell people, friends first, recruit later. Here's the thing. We signed those people up. We did that event in December. We still didn't have a product. So for the first 6 months, we didn't have a website. All we had was a basic back office. We didn't have the back office for 3 months. Then we introduced our very first dream trip, which I planned. We announced it at that event in Vegas, the one I showed you the picture of. And we only had room for 100 people, and it sold out within 24 hours. So we had gone almost 4 months with no product. So literally we had no product, no website, no nothing to do. You couldn't buy anything. You couldn't spend anything. You couldn't book anything. It was just an idea. We were signing up hundreds of people on an idea and a vision. We didn't even have anything. Then we had a trip for a day. Then it sold out. Then I had to go plan the next trip, which was to Costa Rica. And because I had owned a travel company in Costa Rica, I used some of my contracts. So I set up the second trip. And then the second trip sold out within like a week. So now we've been in business for 7 months, 8 months, and we've had product for people to use, consumer, buy for about 10 days out of 7 or 8 months. And at that point, we had already put in 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people. We had 2 events. We didn't even have a product. But we had a vision. The vision was there. People were committed. They were going to do whatever it took. It didn't matter what was on the app. It didn't matter about the results. It didn't matter about the savings. It didn't matter about any of those things because the people were committed to the vision because they knew we were going to go through and we were going to have this success and we were going to travel around the world and we were going to see these places and we were going to cross things off our bucket list and we were going to travel together and we were going to make money and we were going to acquire real estate. We had all these vision. We had this vision and it happened. All those people I just described to you, they made millions of dollars with me. Millions. I turned every single one of those people into millionaires. Every one of them. They made more money in that 13 years than they had ever made in their entire life. And honestly, tragically, in my opinion, more than they'll ever make ever again. That's how much success we had and about getting in at the beginning and being in at the ground floor. But here's the thing. See, the advantage is that you're early. The advantage is you're early. The disadvantage is you're early. What we have today is already best in class. We own our own tech. You know, I talked to somebody who's with a competitor. I won't even mention who it was or what the company was the other day. And I know what's running their technology and I know how it works. And that they don't even know. See, the sad thing is that people that are out there selling a travel program for another direct sales company, they don't even know who runs their tech. They can't touch it. They have literally zero control over it. It's just a website with their logo on it. That's it. That's all there is. They don't even know. They don't know how it works. They don't know how who does it or anything. They have no control over how it looks, the interface, experiences, whatever. They literally don't do anything. They're just an affiliate customer. And they're selling it as a product, just like everybody else. So today, 4 months in, we are best in class already. It's crazy to think that I had already signed up 1,000 people in World Ventures 4 or 5 months in, and I didn't even have a product. We had a brochure. We had a brochure that showed this is sample dream trips. You know what? I'll bring it to Miami. I've got pictures of some of this stuff. I've got my original presentations from 2005. I'll show them to you. So we had sample trips. So could you imagine selling a product? How convinced are you, by the way? Right? Because this is my question for you. How much do you believe in what we have here? Because could you go out there today and with just the vision of Bryte Lyfe, without an app, without a website, without everything we have, we're already crushing everyone. But without all of that, could you go and get people to sign up? Could you cast enough vision? Do you have enough belief in where we're going and what we're building that you could go sign people up without a product? See, to me, that's the difference, right? Those people that I mentioned to you, I got in the trenches with them and I went wherever meetings popped up and people started doing meetings and people were doing home parties and getting sales and signups. That's where I went. Where if you build it, I will come. Remember that. If you build it, I will come. I don't care where you are. You could be in Kazakhstan. You could be in Australia. You could be in New Zealand. You could be in Timbuktu. I don't care. If you build it, I will come. And that's exactly what I did in 2005. And those people, they got in the trenches with me and we believed and we knew where we were going. Every one of them became an IMD. Every single one of those people I just told you about, every single one of them hit the top rank in World Ventures. None of them had experience before. None. They were broke. Nobody had ever made more than 60,000 in a year. They all were making 50,000 a month as IMDs. 50,000 a month. So their best year ever in any of their lives was 60,000. They were making that much a month. So the twins were making over 125,000 at the peak. They had to borrow the credit card to get signed up. Because see, what happened was we believed. Eventually, we did have dream trips. We did have a product eventually, but it was like 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 months before we started to have a trip that was available each month. Our first tagline, okay, just to give you some perspective. Our first tagline was the trip of a lifetime monthly. I still have a shirt. The trip of a lifetime monthly. We promised one trip per month. That was our entire product. One group trip that you could take a month. So you could go on 1, you could go on 3, you could go on 12. Problem was they all sold out. So we wound up doing like 15 trips our first year, and then the next year it was 20. And we're signing up thousands of people, and that's the whole product. That's all it was, because it was the vision. It was the vision. So let me just show you what happened 12 years later. We went from that little room, 200 people, to AT&T Stadium. We had half the stadium. You can see it's cut in half. So the stadium holds seated like 80,000, and we had over 25,000. I think the final count was like 27,000. 27,000 people from a meeting in December with no product and no website, a couple hundred people. We'll have that many people in Miami or more. But here's the thing. Are you going to be one of the stories that they're talking about? See, you only have one chance to create your story. What your story is in this industry, what your story is in this business, it follows you forever. So are you going to be proud of your story? Are you writing your story, or is someone else writing your story? Are you in control? Are you the one calling the shots in your story? Because here's the thing, you only have one chance to do this. See, this is my story in the industry. That's me on stage. That was me on stage in the other photo. So it started here. You've seen it, how it started, how it's going. You've seen that, those memes. This is how it started. This is how it started. And then this is how it was going. And so what's crazy about all of this, okay, and the reason why I thought this was so important to talk about is because I want you to understand what we've built. We own our own technology. No one else in our space that's a competitor of ours. None of them own an iota of technology. No one. No one. So just with what we have in our booking app, it makes us better than everything else out there. Nobody has a loyalty program like we do. Here's the thing. Nobody has World Vantage. See, this is what we're talking about. This isn't Me Too. World Vantage, if you are part of a club that's part of their network, you can pay, after you pay your dues to your current club, you could pay $100 to $200 a month. That's what they charge to add it as an add-on to your current country club dues. So you can add it and pay $100 to $200 a month just for World Vantage. It's included here. The companies that we're talking to, I was just on the phone with one of the head directors of Live Golf, head of sales for North America. You know how he kept me on the phone asking me a million questions about Bryte Lyfe. They're blown away. People are blown away. I was on the phone with the head of sales for JSX Airlines. JSX, company doing hundreds of millions of dollars. They've got a multi-billion-dollar valuation, I'm sure. And they want to know how we're attracting so many members so fast. How are y'all doing this? World Vantage. Same thing. Palmer Advantage, the parent company that has all of the paying members from all of their clubs that are those 250 clubs. It took them 20 years and they've got 15,000 members. 20 years to get to 15,000. We've got almost 2,000 users in 4 months. They want to know too. Everybody wants to know how we're doing what we're doing. We're already winning. And we're just getting started. But here's the thing. What are you doing? Are you waiting for somebody to come to your town? Are you waiting for somebody to come to your meeting? Nobody did that stuff for us in 2005. I went out to LA every week. I would fly from Dallas to LA, Dallas to LA, Dallas to LA. Then we signed up a big team in Arizona. So then I would fly Dallas, Phoenix to go do meetings in Scottsdale. And then I would go to LA. And so that's why I bought a house in Vegas, because I was going out to the West Coast so much, because that's where people were working. Wherever they were working is where I was going. I would go wherever, anywhere. It didn't matter. Sleep on a couch, ride in a car, ride with reps, whatever, go to cities I'd never been. I didn't care, because we were the only ones that were going to build it and make it happen. We didn't even have a product, but we believed. You think about where we are right now, what we already have. I've been on the phone with JSX, I've been on the phone with Live Golf. I mean, we've got Resort Pass. Resort Pass doesn't even have the tech we have. They've already had the company's worth several $100 million. They don't even have the tech that we have. The company today, if I was to go sell the company today, it's worth several $100 million already today, how it sits right now. Nobody could even build what we have. The contracts, the relationships, what we have, It's priceless. The company's not for sale. We're not selling the company. There is no exit strategy. This is going to be a legacy company. This is going to be the biggest direct sales company in the world. You realize, I mean, it's just Herbalife and Amway at the top. Yeah, they've been in business 70 years or whatever. So what? Doesn't matter. We can be bigger than them in 5 years, 10 years. We could be a $10 billion company bigger than both of them in a decade, maybe faster. Look at other companies that have come along and done it. You know, it took Apple, you know, however many years, 40 years to get to $1 trillion. Now it seems like a new company is hitting $1 trillion valuation every day. Now Apple's $4 trillion. It took Apple 40 years, whatever it was, 50 years to get to $1 trillion. And then it took it 2 to get to 4. 40 years, 50 years to get to $1 trillion in valuation. And then literally 2 years to get to $4 trillion. What? That's the power of tech. It's the power of software. It's the power of where we are right now in today's civilization, where we're at with technology and communication at our fingertips, where you can have a business that's global. You guys realize we're already in over 20 languages. Did you know the whole time we were at World Ventures, we never translated anything? People asked, we never could do it. We didn't translate anything. If anybody wanted anything translated, they had to go do it. See, here's the difference. We were doers. We would get it done because the company wasn't going to do it. So our attitude was, if we want it, we got to go get it. And see, the vision here is our goal was never just to be the biggest, direct sales company or to be the biggest travel direct sales, for sure not that. To be the biggest direct sales company, that only takes 10 billion. We're thinking way bigger than that. See, our goal is to have our technology have everything centric to travel, lifestyle, and entertainment. For those of you that I haven't already talked to, we're already building dashboard features for people to be able to put their short-term rentals in our platform. That'll happen next year. Why am I doing this? Because I would like for each one of you to have houses in all of your favorite places. That's my goal. My goal, and I started doing that's what I did for the 3.5, 4 years that I sat out of the industry. I acquired property at places that I wanted to go. And I have properties that are earmarked that I want to buy still. Because my goal is I want to have a house. I want to own a house that pays for itself and then pays me. And then literally I can have a house in all these places. But here's the thing. Bryte Lyfe is a way for me to put all of my houses in front of our community, in front of our members. And I hate Airbnb and I hate VRBO. I hate the systems. I hate the platforms. I hate the way that they treat their hosts. And so this could be a Airbnb killer, a VRBO killer. Think about it for a second. We could come up with ways where we can monetize you for bringing houses to the platform. Depending on how we charge a fee or how we give the discount, we will require people to be on our platform to charge the lowest amount they're charging anywhere. So they can't even touch our platform unless they discount it off of what they're charging on Airbnb, VRBO. Could you imagine the competitive advantage you're going to have with both of those companies having multi-billion-dollar valuations? I mean, Airbnb right now today, and that's just houses. That's just short-term. They do some activities and some other stuff, but they've not done well with it. Their customer acquisition cost is ridiculously high. They're hemorrhaging money. They're not making money. Go look at their earnings reports. They're hemorrhaging money, but the company's worth 82 billion. And they just do one of those things. That's just going to be one of the things that we do. And can you imagine 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, when you have a house in, the Amalfi Coast and you have a house in Switzerland, in the Alps, you have a house in Mexico, you have a house in the Bahamas, you have a house in Colorado, you have a house in Banff, you have a house in Lake Como, you have a house in Bali. I've looked at real estate in all those places. So then you put the house on our platform and you get paid, commission based on the bookings that come through there from the houses that you bring in. So maybe we put that into the downline and now you're making percentages on that. So what happens then when we become the place that everybody wants to put their short-term rentals on because they don't like Airbnb and VRBO, or maybe Airbnb doesn't make it. Go look at their earnings reports, and you tell me, if you were an investor, would you buy that company? Look at their earnings. Look at how much their customer acquisition costs are. Go Google it. See, our customer acquisition cost, that's our power. We're attracting customers faster than even Airbnb did, and they had to pay for them. See, it's the reverse. We're paying you. We're incentivizing you. So our customer acquisition cost is built into our compensation. We're not advertising. We're not going to spend a dime. We won't spend a dime on advertising. We don't need to. We don't have that customer acquisition cost that those companies have. We don't have to do any billboards. We don't have to do any of that stuff. So that's all part of the roadmap. Having our own properties that we own, that you own, that I own, that'll be like the Bryte hotels. We could have our own Bryte Lyfe hotel. We can have our own compound where everybody in the community, we go develop our own golf course, where we have our own Bryte Lyfe golf course, and we've got our own houses around it. And then we can charge and sell it on the app and charge other people to come stay in those houses. Because when you own the tech, when you own the software, you can do whatever you want. This is what I love about our tech team. When I go into meetings with them, they just say, Wes, you just tell us what you want, what you need, and we will build it. Do you know that? I've for thousands of hours in meetings with Jake and with our tech team. They've never told me no. They've never said, we can't do that. We've talked about all of these ideas. Partnerships with JSX. We've already got contracts with private jet companies, with exotic car rentals. We've got contracts with them. We're just waiting on some integration things, and all that stuff is coming. We're having conversations with the biggest music festivals, with the biggest entertainment companies, with the biggest musicians, the most famous musicians. I can't even tell you all of the things that are coming. Probably by Miami, you're going to see how you can get tickets to the Super Bowl through Bryte Lyfe. For this year's Super Bowl. All of this stuff is coming. And so here's the thing. Are you going to wait? Oh, well, Wes, get back with me in a couple years, man. That Airbnb thing sounds really good. Cool. No problem. That 2 years, it will cost you 10 to catch up. Because right now, when you go into a crowded room of people and you say, have you heard of Bryte Lyfe? You're going to get crickets. 2 years from now, that will not be the case. 5 years from now, you will be hard-pressed to find somebody who's not heard about this. So are you going to go make it happen? Are you going to schedule meetings? Are you going to do it? Or are you going to wait for somebody to come? There will be people on here right now that will still not do anything. They still won't plan anything. They're not going to have any meetings. They're not going to go get out of their comfort zone. Do you know how many times in 2005 I would show up to do meetings, or I would go do meetings, and there'd be 2 guests there, 3 people there, 4 people there, 5 people? I didn't care. It didn't matter. Rain, snow, sleet, or shine, I did the meetings. There's still a meeting happening in San Antonio, Texas, from the team that I started in 2006. They still do a weekly meeting there that I started for World Ventures in 2006, and it's happened every week since 2006. They're now building Secret, which thinks that it's a travel company, and now it's Viago. But the thing is that meeting's still happening. I set that meeting up in 2006, and I did it every week. You know how many people were at the first one I did? I had a hotel room right by the airport in San Antonio. There was 6 people there. I signed the contract, and I did it, and I showed up every week. 6 people the first week, 9 people the second week, 13 people the third week. It didn't matter, because in my head, I was already an IMD. I was already at the top. I was already going to have property. I was going to have investments. I had the largest racehorse facility in the state of Texas. I had 125 thoroughbred racehorses, $3 million worth of horses at my farm at one time, all paid for by World Ventures. Those dreams came true. I've got awards and trophies all hanging up here in my office from that. And it all came from me going to California, me going to Arizona, me going to Vegas, me going to San Antonio, me going to West Texas, Amarillo, Lubbock. I will go wherever. It didn't matter, because we were going to get it done. We were going to make it happen. And see, we already have right now today way more than we ever had at World Ventures. But we still had people that were working harder and doing more with less. Think about that. There were people that were hitting these early ranks in World Ventures. To get residual, you had to have 30-30 to make $100 in residual. Multiple people hit 30-30 before we even had a product. You know that there's competitors out there in the direct sales space. They're launching, signing people up. They don't even have a website yet. They don't have a product. I'm not going to say any names, but you know who they are. I mean, so if those people can get those people to sign up, and if people can hit 30 20 years ago at $300, $325 without a product, you can't do it with everything we have. I mean, the difference is that do you believe? Do you believe that you're going to be an influencer 500,000? Do you believe you're going to be an influencer 15,000? Are you going to get the Rolex? Are you going to go on the trip with us? Every year, the influencer 15,000 and above trip is going to be the most ridiculous trip. It'll be the best trip. Every year, it'll be the best trip because every year it'll get better. So every year, it'll be the best trip you've ever taken in your entire life because trust me, I'm going on it. And in case you haven't seen how I travel or how I like to travel or the things I've done or the places I've been, you're going to see more of it. We're going to Miami, one of my favorite places. The place we're going in January, one of my favorite places. Vegas in May for our first convention, one of my favorite places. So you're going to see how we do things. But the thing is are you going to be a big part of it? Are you going to do your meetings? Are you going to get people signed up? Are you going to get people upgraded? Are you going to make sure people are getting members? That's another thing that we need to talk about. People cannot come in as an influencer only. What? Influencer only? You can't come in as an influencer only. How are you going to sell something you don't have yourself? That's like an obese person trying to sell weight loss. You are not going to have success. If you're selling weight loss, you need to act the part. Okay? If you're selling fitness products, you need to be fit. If you're selling Bryte Lyfe, you need to have it. How can you sell it if you don't have it? You can't have people limping into the business, dipping your toe into the water. That doesn't work. Nobody ever had success by just dipping their toe into the water. You should upgrade everybody. Everybody should be a member. Be a member first. Be an influencer after you get your first two. Add the influencer later, if anything. You should be signing everybody up as a member. The value we have right now is priceless, and we're just getting started. It's crazy to think about the jets and the exotic cars and music festivals and concerts and entertainment, nightlife, nightclubs. We're talking about some of the fanciest restaurants, private dining clubs. I mean, I don't even want to tell you. When you come to Miami, all right, you're gonna get more. Okay, so here's the thing. We'll end with this because we've only got 4 minutes. We're gonna have people jumping on our Zoom. I have to get off. So here's the promotion. Okay, anybody who comes to Miami is going to have their pay for travel dollars doubled coming out of Miami. Okay, you have to be there. So you need to go and spend $100 because literally you sign up one person out of Miami, your travel dollars are going to be doubled. You're going to get double travel dollars for everybody that comes to Miami. Okay, so book the tickets. Tomorrow night, the price goes up from $99. All right, get the music festival tickets. All right, the music festival is key. It's huge. It's going to be the social proof you need to show your friends and family when you're backstage or your VIP next to the stage in your private Bryte Lyfe section, and our logo is going to be blasted over these mega screens, and musicians are going to be saying our name. The DJ Silver is a friend of mine. It's going to be an incredible event. You cannot afford to miss it. If you don't go to Miami, you are not in. You've got to be in. We used to go to an event every single month. I talked about this at the training. The training is uploaded from yesterday. Go listen to it. Thank you so much for getting on here. I'll see you guys at Zoom VIP room in about 60 seconds. Love you guys. God bless.